If you've ever watched your follow through and seen your fingers flick to the side, then this one is for you. You throw the dart, you follow through, and then suddenly your fingers snap out. And then you think to yourself, what just happened? I've had it, and you know what? I still get it. And for a long time, I thought that the flick was the problem. I thought if I could just keep my hand straighter. No. Or force the follow through cleaner, it'd stop it. And it didn't stop it, and it doesn't stop it. Because do you know why? The flick is not the cause. It's actually a reaction. And once you understand that, the whole thing becomes a little less frustrating. When this happens, it usually feels like this. The dart just drifts ever so slightly, but not massively, just enough to annoy you. Just left of target, just right of target, and your hand finishes in a position that just didn't feel clean. You don't feel smooth, you feel like I've helped that dart on its way. And that is the key word, helped. And trust me, those darts, they don't like being helped. And that's where the flick usually shows up. Most of us will think it's a grip or an alignment issue, or even that you're trying to steer the dart. What we tend to do then is we'll grip it tighter or a little bit looser. Maybe we'll even move it further down the fingers. Also, one of the things that we try and do is we try and automatically try and force the flick to stop happening. What we're doing in them scenarios, me I'm talking about, and I guess you as well, is we're focusing on the hand. But when we focus on the hand, we're actually tightening up our grip without even thinking about it. And that changes the timing massively. And when the timing changes, the release tends to drift. And when the release drifts, the flick actually gets more pronounced, it gets worse. That's why trying to fix it directly rarely ever works. So what's actually happening? In my experience, it comes down to two simple things really. Late release is the first one. You're letting go too late. And then another key one is uneven pressure between your finger and your thumb. That's it. Let's break it down properly. On a late release, if your dart leaves your hand a fraction too late, your body and your brain knows it. You might not consciously feel it, but like I say, your brain and your body, your nervous system, that knows about it. And in that split second, your hand tries to steer it back to where it should be going. It's kind of almost like your body saying, that's drifting. Then it reacts. The reaction is the flick. It's not planned, it's not intentional, and it's not something you decided to do. It's a correction attempt. But you know what? The dart's already gone and the correction is too late. What about if it's uneven pressure? That's the second cause, pressure imbalance. If our finger lets go just slightly before the thumb, or the thumb lets go slightly before the finger, the dart isn't rolling cleanly off the hand. It gets pushed. Now, it's not a huge shove, just a tiny push. But that tiny push changes the exit line. And in all of this, we're talking milliseconds. But as we all know, milliseconds matter in darts. And when that push happens, the hand reacts. That reaction is what you see. The flick is the information. It's trying to tell us something about our timing. I filmed a little demo, which I'm going to chuck on here right now. I tried my best, as best I could, to flick it as often as I could, to show it. I've slowed the flicks down. Don't worry about where I'm scoring on this board, because this board here, well, some of them went here and some of them went here. Don't worry about that too much. I want you to look at the hand and the release and see how many times in this little demo that I actually flicked out to the side. So what I did here is literally just filmed me throwing, 12, 15 darts, 4 or 5 visits at the board. I've circled every time and slowed it down slightly so you can see that flick out. And every time it's really, really pronounced. So what I've noticed when I'm watching this back is that when them fingers flick out, I actually then rush to collect the next dart, which also makes the dart move to the left. If you remember my one bad habit video, reaching for that dart also has an effect. So not only am I flicking my fingers, I'm reaching for the dart too quick. Now, the movement here isn't actually really the cause, it's the response. Now, when we're looking at a clean release, if you notice the difference, the dart leaves, the hand finishes naturally, there's no rescue attempt. So I'm not trying to stop the flick, I'm not thinking about my fingers, I'm just letting the release happen cleanly. So when the timing's right, the hand doesn't need to interfere whatsoever. And that's the main key for it. The hand interferes when the timing drifts. We have to make sure our release and our grip pressure is perfect. And if it is, we get a lovely straight follow through. If not, we look like we're doing some gang sign as we're following through. And that's it. As we all know around these parts, I'm not a pro and I'm not a coach. I'm just trying to show you that that flick is coming because of that late release. Let me know in the comments, does it happen to you? How often, if you film your throw, how often do you see it? Or when you're not doing it, how often do you see it in your follow through, your fingers flicking out? A lot of people will think they're the only one, but you know what? We all do it. I still can't escape it sometimes. Now, what can the big mistake be when it comes to this finger flick and the timing? The big mistake is trying to eliminate the flick itself. If we try consciously to stop the fingers flicking out, what we're going to do is we're going to create tension in that grip. When we create that tension, we're actually delaying the release. And when we delay that release, that flick gets worse. It becomes a loop, and then we start thinking, my throw's broken. It's not broken. Remember, trust the throw. It's not broken, it's reacting. I'm going to reframe it now. You don't fix the flick. You improve the release. We do not rebuild our throw. No, no, no. Especially not with one flick in a whole match or even a visit. We're certainly not panicking and starting over, which I've been guilty of in the past, as you all know. We've got to look at timing and we've got to look at the pressure and how we are gripping that dart. And then my message, which I say pretty much in every video, trust the throw. Because when your timing settles, that flick doesn't even need to exist. It's gone. Want to be clear, this is not a one session fix. The release timing is really subtle. That pressure balance that where you're holding the dart, that's really subtle. It's literally a matter of verses. That's it. You might understand it today, but you'll probably see the results tomorrow. And that's completely normal, but the difference is actually this. You won't panic when you see it. Once that panic has left the equation, the body and the mind usually sorts itself out. And that's the goal. It's not perfection, it's actually understanding why it happens. Remember this, the flick is not the enemy. It's actually your feedback on how you're releasing the dart. I still do it, as you saw on them throws, even though I try to exaggerate some of them. It still happens. I was playing a few matches last night. I played really, really well. But occasionally on my follow through, I could just see the hand doing that. But the darts were still landing where I wanted them. Ish, there. And when you read it properly, you're going to stop fighting it. When you read it properly, you're going to stop fighting it. And do you know what? It'll probably never really disappear. We're not professionals, our throw is not perfect, and occasionally it's going to come out. But once it does, we know what the issue is. Hopefully you found this video useful. Let me know in the comments below, are you a flicker? Or is your hand perfect every time? Or does it do something different? Try and describe it as best you can in words down below in the comments. If you're still with me, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It does help the channel and also sends it far and wide. Hopefully other people can get to see it as well. Until the next time, trust your throw. Remember, the flick is the feedback, timing is the issue, not the finger, it's your timing. Until the next one, like I said, trust the throw. See you later.